Hey everybody, it's Derek. So, this is the long request. Let me adjust this camera here. This is the long awaited, not request, but, health and history video that I've been promising. And so I've kind of got some attire on, to get me in the mood. And so, alright, so, the health and history, ran for like 36 issues, plus there were two annuals that both came out on Halloween, so I've included the annuals in with my top moments. And so let's get started, shall we? Because this is probably going to take a little bit of time to get through. The first moment is when we first enter the world of the dreaming, and the dreaming contains both the house of mystery and the house of secrets. And when we open, Cain is at his brother's house, the house of secrets, with Abel having tea, and one of my favorite quotes comes from this little get together, which says, "What is my hair doing?" Anyway, back on topic. Which says, Cain says to Abel after it's revealed that he's killed him with an axe, "For even though all mysteries contain secrets, not all secrets contain mysteries." And so I love that quote, and so I've actually put that up on my Facebook page. And it's just one of my favorite all-time things that was said in a comic book. Alright, number 2 is after Cain leaves the House of Secrets, he realizes that his house is gone. Just up and gone. And that's what sets the story in motion. He exclaims, "Blood of the gods." That is Cain's house. Cain has always inhabited the house of mystery, and so where could the house of mystery be? Well, that gets answered when we find out that the house of mystery is actually now a bar. And so this is where we meet Ian the pirate, Cressida, and Poet. And they start to, so we meet them, and then we find out that there was another lady that also was in the house with them named Rena, and she mysteriously leaves in a coach and drives off to we don't know where, and but obviously she gets to leave the house. So we start to meet the people of the house, and instantly I can tell you I liked Cress. She's the most outspoken one, always cynical, and definitely doesn't take no crap. Number 3, or actually number 4. It's too early for this. Number 4. Fig enters the House of Mystery for the first time, and the first one to greet her is Cress, who says, "First time A, welcome to the House of Mystery, fabled in story and song. The first drink is on the house." And so that basically is the end of issue 1, and this is where everything gets really crazy, if it wasn't crazy before, from here on out. Number 5, Fig meets Harry, and they both just say hi to one another, and it's kind of like an awkward meeting, but you can tell instantly there's some attraction between the two of them. What I do think is funny is, foreshadowing this, you can see Jordan, the film student, in the background, just sipping on a beer, and so it's really funny how what we find out later about Harry, how this whole this just one initial meeting foreshadows everything, and in terms of what side what side of reality these two guys are on. So, all right, the sixth moment is when Fig realizes she cannot leave the house. She tries all these different ways of leaving. She can't leave. For whatever reason, the house is keeping her. And so she instantly goes into a depression right away, knowing that her life as she knew it is now over, and that she is trapped here, and whatever the mystery is that's keeping her here, she realizes she will not be figuring out anytime soon, and she does not for a while. Moment number 7 is when Fig still will not take the house's, the house keeping her in there permanently. She feels that there is a way out, and she knows the house because she feels that it is the house that she drew while she was an architect student. And so Harry, Ian, Cress, Poet, and Fig all get together and pull a map of the basement and realize that there could be a hidden passageway out of the house through the basement. If you're familiar with the House of Mystery, you will know that many tales of horror has been told in there, and that was just in the parlor. You can imagine what horrors that the basement holds, and that is where we transition to kind of in between before they start making plans to go down. There's a flashback of when Harry comes to the house, and he can see that it was lived in, and this is where he meets Kane's brother Abel and Goldie the gargoyle. I love Goldie. I love Goldie. I think it's adorable. I actually have a plushie that I got for Christmas from my parents, and I just adore Goldie, and I adore Abel as well. And so it's just, I just included this in here for the cuteness factor, just to see Goldie go arg. I love it. I love every time Goldie shows up in the thing and either does its little arc or makes any kind of noise. I just love it. It's akin to finding a cat on Tumblr, if that makes any sense. I want a Goldie on my very own. Alright, number 9. We do get to find out a little bit about Cress's past, or Cressida's past, and that she did have a girlfriend, and just some of the side characters that we get to meet. For the life of me, I cannot remember her name. But she turns out to be a pretty cool chick, even going with them on a couple of adventures later on down the road. Number 10. So, long story short, the house ends up in the world of the goblins, and they have a big battle, and this is where we finally get to see all the members of the house get to pull together. They come in swords drawn, ready to fight, to help Harry, and I'm not going to really spoil it, but a member of Fig's family shows up, and it's just one big awesome battle, and we get to see that the tenants of the house, or the occupants, I should say, of the house, are no laughing matter. They can fight. And then in this whole melee of everything comes another enemy called the Thinking Man and his army, which is made up of deadly robots. The Thinking Man is a Puritan type character, and he comes to basically attack the house. And this is where it gets really cool, because Ian the pirate has an admirer named Overhill. Overhill has a secret, and we get to find that if you mess with Ian enough, that you will get to see the secret of Overhill, which is he is a gigantic dragon, and he blasts the Thinking Man's army with some fiery breath, and it's awesome. Like, you don't expect this little stout man to turn into this big ferocious dragon. So I thought that was really cool. And number 12. Okay, so if you recall earlier, when we meet the occupants of the house, and they are basically having a drink talking about the girl Rena that had left with the coachman. We find out the coachman, who keeps mysteriously popping up in the series, and this is a spoiler alert. If you have not read it, you can skip past this. I'll wait, because we get to find out that the coachman is actually the house's old owner, King, who is using the map to get closer to the House of Mystery because he wants his house back. He doesn't appreciate going to have tea with his brother and coming back and not having his House of Mystery. So I thought that was a pretty cool reveal. I kind of suspected that in the beginning, but I wasn't sure. I didn't know what kind of twist they were going to take, but I was happy to see that the coachman was able. And I really want that mask. If anybody from DC or Vertigo is watching this, I really want that mask. Yeah. And later on in the video, we cover another type of mask. And so, but yeah, I want this mask. I'm going to say moment number 13. So this isn't really like a big haha moment, but it's kind of how storylines converge together. And so so while they're down in the basement, they find a relative of Fig's, who I guess we presumed was dead, and he is holding a knife to Jordan, the film student's throat. And while this whole drama is going on, in comes Cyril and Kane, and Cyril says, I think it's Cyril says, "This is awkward," and Fig responds by saying, "I'll say." It's just moments like that. It's things, people always running into one another, no matter what the thing. There's always some type of drama, and always converges and culminates. And just when you think things can't get any worse, they do. And so I thought 13, which is typically considered an unlucky number, I thought this was a great moment to show that there are very unlucky moments throughout this series, and this is just one of them. And I really liked the juxtapositions of the, Cyril and Kane stumbling upon all this drama happening. There's a dagger to a man's throat, and they exclaim, "This is awkward," which it was. Number 14. So speaking of Cyril is an administrator of the world between worlds, and once Fig dead, finally we get Cyril's death, which is a decapitation and just thrown out. And thank God, because I really do not like Cyril. I really don't even think Cyril adds anything to it's just an annoyance. So just to get that out of the way, and to make Kane this, to me, I don't even know why we really needed it, but it was just good just to get that wiped off the board. Movement number 15. So, everything culminates again, and Fig has to make a decision to give Harry up. So everything up until this point, Harry and Fig has become lovers, and in order to save herself, Fig is offered a deal by the Conception, who, you know, I kind of think about it now, I probably should include it in my top moments, but the Conception are annoyance too, even though they are part of the story. But anyway, the goodbye between Fig and Harry, and you know, she'll probably never see him again, and we don't know what the deal was, but Harry has to go away, and so their goodbye, I ship them, and it's sad to see them break up. So that's why I included that. Now, I will say that so everything up until moment 15. So I consider the House of Mystery to be the whole series to be divided up into 3 different chapters. And there's the beginning where Fig learns about the house, and you know, she meets Harry, and everything happens, and it culminates into Harry leaving. When Harry leaves, the next issue, I say that begins part 2. And so part 2 is called Under New Management, and we find out that Kane is back in the house, living, which makes the dynamic even more interesting, because Kane is just crazy. I like Kane. I think Kane adds to these people's lives a creepy, even more creepier dynamic. He's able to interact. I mean, it's usually what we've seen before is basically the occupants of the house, you know, interacting with the things in the house, if that makes any sense. And now we actually have something that that can create some controversy with the people in the house. I guess what I'm trying to say is it's basically the creepy part of the house that's able to interact socially rather than just through experiences with the people. That's what I'm trying to say. So anyway, under new management, so Fig and Kane are now co-owners of the house, much to Kane's dismay. And so when the series picks up, the house is now right in the middle of the Goblin Market, which now that, so the house and the House of Secrets are together in the Goblin Market, right across the way from one another. So all one has to do is come out of the House of Mystery, walk over to the House of Secrets. So they're now side by side again, but in one of the strangest one of the strangest worlds ever. Now, moment number 18, we get to find out that there is another member of Fig's family, and that is her brother Strawberry, who she forgot she even had a brother. So Strawberry makes his way towards the House of Mystery to see Fig, and from the moment he enters, it is pure chaos, which leads us into moment 19. So they wound up tying Strawberry up because he tried to slip into bed with Fig in nothing but his underwear. So they tie him up in the pantry. During the night, they hear a scream. Everyone comes running down to the pantry. opens it up and finds a dead strawberry, and I edited this out for you people with a weak stomach, but King's brother Abel, who doesn't really seem like he could harm a fly, with a butcher knife and his entrails. Is Abel a murderer? Well, we find out maybe. And so, with Abel being accused of the murder, the goblins come in and they demand that blood be met with blood, and so they basically have they want to hang Abel. And so at the time, so Abel willingly offers himself up, because if you really think about it, Abel dies multiple times. If you're not familiar, Cain kills him over and over, and he keeps regenerating and coming back, so a hanging is going to be nothing. And so whatever secret that Abel has with who, so we can assume that Abel is not the murderer, but he's taken the rap for a strawberry. And so keeping up with the theme of death, so eventually everything works itself out, and the hunter comes to the House of Mysteries bar and slaughters everybody. And again, I want to highlight Abel, who Abel is one of how do I describe it? He is a co-star, but when his moments happen, they're golden. Like I love when he's in any panel in the whole series. So with that said, he actually rescues Fig, who is dead, and tells her, I'm going to tell you a secret, Fig. It's a really big one, so I appreciate it if you forget it right away. It's a secret of how not to be dead after someone kills you. Which, he tells the secret, Fig awakens, we can go on with the story. This goes to show that Cain and Abel are very, very powerful. And so, you've got these colossal people in this house with, some people have powers, but these two people are giants in terms of what they can do. So after everyone comes back alive, and after all the traumatic events in the house, we find out that Fig, since Harry has been gone, has been stepping out of her room at night. And through hilarious stick figures, we see Fig's nightly exercise of poor judgment. So figure 1 shows A, which is Fig, knocks on B's, which is Jordan's door after closing. B pretends not to know that A is using him. And so we find out that they've been hooking up in the wake of Harry's absence. So then the storyline after that, so one of the things that I do love about the House of Mystery is that every issue, a story is told. So the story that goes along with the issue, but isn't in the main plot. So to pay your tab at the House of Mysteries bar, you have to tell a story. Because after your first drink, you start to accrue a tab, and so you can only pay it down by telling stories. So one of the stories was from a girl named Daphne, who was the princess of the Summerlands, which is a land ruled by witches, and she had a leopard that basically watched out for her, and any guy that broke her heart, the leper would eat. And so we get Daphne's mother, Diana. Diana, who is Lady of Summerlands, Queen of the Witches. She comes knocking at the House of Mystery's door and requests that she needs the help of Fig. Fig willingly agrees, and they have to fight the Thinkinians army, who is back again with the Summerlands, and so they also get the help of the goblins to help them fight as well. And so this is where one of the goblins, who is a regular at the House of Mysteries bar, Tursig, is a goblin who is gay, and he is in love with the leader, which, if I recall correctly, his name is Karg, and Karg basically uses him and abuses him, and he's not interested in Tursig at all, but Tursig is interested in him. Ultimately, Tursig has to figure out that he's got to save the goblin side of the goblin army, because Karg is not doing good as a leader, and is very poor in planning and executing a battle strategy. Well, Karg doesn't like that, and the two of them fight to the death, with Tursig coming out on top and says, "If we be goblins, then let us fight. I will tell you how it will go." And that is where Tursig becomes the leader of the goblins, and the greatest leader at that. So another point for the underdog. After the madness of the goblin army, we get to meet another one of the patrons at the House of Mysteries bar is Byzantine Mac. Byzantine Mac has a daughter named Lotus Blossom, and Lotus Blossom comes to the house, and she's very young, looks very kind of doesn't dress in the typical female clothes, and is very, well, I guess people would consider tomboy-ish, and is very plain, and she needs Fig and doesn't like Fig at all. And so remember that name, because we do get to see more of Lotus Blossom, and she does play a bigger part in what I consider Act 3. So again, crazy stuff happens in the House of Mystery. The House of Mystery takes off with Cain and Fig in it, and which leaves the other occupants of the house stranded. The only place that they can go, well, right across the street to the House of Secrets, which Abel is so happy to have people that he has created an entire night of finger sandwiches and tea and a murder mystery parlor game, which I would love to do. Everyone else that comes to visit him is very uninterested. So, I know this is getting pretty long. We're already at 29 minutes, but I'll keep going. So, no one is interested at all. He totally reminds me of me. He tries to get everybody to play along. They don't want to play along, and so he gets mad. In fact, they wound up leaving him and going to watch fairies down by the lake out back of the House of Secrets. But I thought it was really cool because he dresses them all up. It's kind of like Clue, and Clue is one of my favorite games, and I've been playing it a lot lately because you saw from my last you saw from my last vlog that I actually got a new Clue game at Home Goods. So this was really cool to see. Moment 27 is we cut back to the House of Mystery, and we see that Fig and Kane, someone have like a sit down and he tries to give her advice in his creepy, weird way. And I think one of the funniest moments is when she says, "What is wrong with you? Do you care about anything, or are you truly just this one-note cartoon Crypt Keeper ripoff?" I thought it was hilarious. It dawns on me as I'm reading this that yeah, he is a, well, I don't know who came before. I don't know if it was the Tales from the Crypt or the House of Mystery. I'm gonna probably put my money on it was the House of Mystery, but I could be wrong. So, and then I want to cover the finale of Act excuse me, of Act 2, which is so all through these events, at least 3 members of Fig's family comes back. There's I'm just going to say it her because I can't not explain it. Her father, her grandfather, and her brother. So they all come back, and her grandfather feels that the house has taken so much from him. I don't really know his backstory on that, but he winds up blowing the house up. The house goes boom, no more house. Can you really destroy the House of Mystery? I have seen that people, if you were a fan of Gail Simone's Secret 6, you saw that people tried to the Suicide Squad, well, Amanda Waller more specifically, tried to destroy the House of Secrets. You can't destroy these houses. These houses always come back. And so, you know, obviously we know that blowing it up is not going to do anything. The house is just going to come back. But in the explosion, you get to see a mask, which leads me to my next moment, which is moment number 29, which is the mask of Mystery. Everybody's sitting downstairs on Halloween night, and they're going through the things that are in the basement of the house, and Faye comes upon a mask, a very gruesome mask. So, I want to add, if you were watching DC or Vertigo, please make a replica of the house, of the Mask of Mystery, because I really want one. I really want one. Please, for me. Anyway, so, the Mask of Mystery, it's basically, it has traveled through different people. They get to see the story that the mask has, and we see a lot of Vertigo heavy hitters like Madame Xanadu and John Constantine and I believe iZombie, and so they have little mysteries, little mysteries, little tales, and going through each of the worlds with the mask. And so I thought it was pretty cool that mask exists in the house, and then we also get to see it again when the house blows up. And so moment number 30 comes from the second House of Mystery annual. This is very hard to track down. If you watch my What Kristen Got Me video, you will see that she had found me a downloaded copy of the House of Mystery Annual number 2. Don't worry, when it comes out through Comixology, I will buy it. I don't download anything that I do not intend to buy later on. and so I actually want a licensed copy for myself, but I really wanted to read it so I could continue on with the series. And so basically the second House of Mystery annual focuses on these kids that basically tick a gypsy off, and she puts a curse on them, so they go through many different worlds, non-stop trick-or-treating. And so one of the patrons happens to be a psychic witch from Jersey, and she tries to perform a dehexing spell. And one of my favorite moments is when Abel says to Cain, they're standing outside, I just love a good old-fashioned dehexing, don't you, brother? And if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that I Instagram this because I love it. And Cain says, rolling his eyes, yes, it's a shame we didn't have any warning. We could have made s'mores. Well, as she's trying to dehex him, one of the kids who is dressed like a demon cracks a bottle and slits her throat. Everyone is horrified, and the next thing we know, Abel is coming out of the house with Goldie in tow, holding a tray of s'mores. And I love that. I love it. Abel is just, he is there for comic relief, and I just love those moments. I love that character, and I love the moments, and any moments we get to have with him. So, alright, so we have covered 30 of my top favorite moments, and so this video doesn't take forever to upload. I know it will, because I want to say it's borderline 40-something minutes, so it's going to take forever. But when I finish reading the series, I will pick up with my favorite moments starting from 31. I don't know how far I'm going to get, but those are my top 30 moments from the House of Mystery. If you have not read it, I highly suggest picking up the series. It's so good. It was one of those hidden treasures that I didn't know existed. I was a fan of the House of Secrets from I guess the 50s through the 60s, and so I never even thought about picking this up, and I'm glad I did. The whole series, except the second Halloween annual, is for purchase on Comixology. If you have the iPad or the Kindle app, you can download the entire series right to your Kindle, and I will include the link below. If you're not a digital comics reader, you can easily go to Amazon and find all the trades. There is a trade that does collect the second annual now. So, alright, well, thank you for joining me in my top 30 moments, and look for part 2, which picks up with the third act. Alright, thanks guys.